Gong Shi Fat Hai, Gong Hei Fa Choi. And there we are with my pathetic attempt at saying Happy New Year in both Mandarin and Cantonese. And we have a mushroom, spring onion and ginger egg drop soup. So for this we need some mushrooms, ginger, spring onion and vegetable stock, cornflour, sesame oil, an egg and some black pepper. And I'll talk you through the ingredients as we do the recipe. Let's get on with it. This has got to be one of the quickest soups to make. I bet you it took me longer to film this and actually make the soup. So we'll start off by chopping up all the vegetables. Spring onions first, and all I'm doing here is just taking the rough ends off. If these were my own spring onions, I wouldn't bother taking the ends off, but they're from a supermarket and the ends are a bit dry. Anyway, I prefer to use the greens actually in the soup, and we'll use the white part of the spring onions for the dressing. The greens look great in a soup, just give it a bit of colour, you know. What are these? About 3-4mm slices. And just set them to one side when you've done. And on with the mushrooms, and like I said, I'm using shitake. Sorry. Every time I say the word shitake, I think of the Catherine Tate sketch. If you haven't seen it, Google it and watch it. It's so funny. Catherine Tate shitake. Anyway, back on track. I'm taking the stalks off the shitake mushrooms. They can be a little tough, and rather than have a tough one, I just take them all off regardless these days. Nice slices. Again, 3-4mm thick. One of the essential things in Chinese food is keeping all the pieces the same size. It makes for better cooking. You can use any mushrooms, button mushrooms, chestnut mushrooms, straw mushrooms. If you are going to use, say, a portobello mushroom, we don't want it too ripe. We do not want the black spores in the soup because it will just ruin the colour. Okay, ginger next, and we want about a thumb-sized piece of ginger. What's that? 2.5cm, about an inch. And take the dry end off again. Best way to get the skin off ginger is to use a spoon. It's easier and it's far less wasteful than using a knife. Quicker as well, I think. We need to mince or finely grate the ginger, so I'm using my microplane for this. I'll tell you what, it's a great bit of kit. I'll leave a link in the description for you. You can use it for nutmeg, for zesting, for chocolate, parmesan, well, anything really. But do watch your fingers because those little barbs are razor sharp. And we don't want any blood in the soup, do we? Save that one there. Okay then, crack your eggs and whisk them. Try and get them totally mixed. We don't want any individual bits of white or yellow if you can help it. Makes it look better. And when they're thoroughly whisked, in with a couple of drops of water. It helps to thin it down a bit and make it easier to pour into the soup later. Another dig well tip for you. Next up, we need to get the starch ready. Use whichever starch you're familiar with. You can use potato starch, tapioca, arrowroot, but I'm using good old cornflour. What have I got? About 1.5 teaspoons for me, and a little bit of water. Mix it up into a good slurry. And then we just set it aside ready for making the soup. Right, here we go then. Let's make the soup. Stock. I'm using vegetable stock. I'm using OXO vegetable stock cube actually. In the water with it, made up to the manufacturer's recommendations. You can use any broth you want really, chicken broth, chicken stock, vegetable, bouillon, anything you want. And then we just get the stock boiling and add the vegetables, in with the mushrooms. In with the spring onion greens. And in with the ginger. Give it all a good stirring and bring it back to a good boil. Turn the heat down a bit and let the pan simmer for a few minutes. In with the black pepper. Now, pepper can go bitter if it's cooked for too long or on too high a heat. So with a delicate soup like this with a few flavours, I like to put the pepper in towards the end so we keep the pepper taste. Give it a good mix about. And then it's in with your starch mix. Give it a good stir around and you should see the soup thicken up just a little bit now, but it'll get a bit thicker later. Leave the soup cooking for a few more minutes and then it's in with the egg. Now I'm using a fork to stir it around. Be very careful if you've got a non-stick pan, you don't want to scratch the bottom. So as the egg mix is very slowly poured in, stir the soup and we make nice ribbons of the egg. No clumping. Just a little bit more stirring to make sure the egg's all broken up. Keep it on the heat until the egg's cooked through and then it's in with your sesame oil. Another quick stir and leave it for another minute and I think that is the soup just about done. Dish the soup up and garnish it with, well, whatever you like really. I use just a few slices of the white of the spring onion. Well, here we go guys, it's going to be a bit warm. Good egg drop effect. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got the ginger. Not too hot, not too hot. Love the shitake mushrooms. Well, I'll tell you what, that is very, very nice. Well, as I said, that was very, very nice. I hope you give this one a go, guys. It is so quick and simple and very, very rewarding. Look after yourselves out there, take care, and I will catch you on the next recipe.